Located off County Road 406 in Columbiana County, Ohio, sits a long-forgotten cemetery. This small, abandoned cemetery is home to 100 memorials or so, nearly all of whom lived in the early to mid-1800s. One of those graves, the final resting place of Oliver Perry Nicholas, my first cousin 5 times removed, holds historic importance to a little village with a significant and sometimes haunting history. The Spread Eagle Tavern was built in 1837, a fine example of Federal period architecture. The 3 floors, 11 rooms, and 12 fireplaces were taken directly from the works of 18th century architect Asher Benjamin. Fine raised wood window and door casings, fluted column frames, and intricately carved mantels are seen throughout the tavern. Today, the Spread Eagle Tavern is an inn, an upscale restaurant, and a treasure trove of American history. History that has a very personal attachment for me. This tavern was once owned by my previously mentioned cousin Oliver. My son and I sat down for a wonderful meal prepared by a culinary artist before we headed off to tour the inn and take a trip back in time. And for the first time, I was able to walk in the footsteps of my family's history. Hanover was settled in 1813 by the Quaker abolitionist James Craig. The town, situated on the Sandy and Beaver Canal, flourished as a center of commerce in the late 1830s, as it lay halfway between the Ohio River and the Erie Canal, which funneled goods north to Cleveland and beyond. It just so happened to also be a major route of the Underground Railroad, helping escaped slaves to freedom. Ferrying them by night, and in the case of many buildings in Hanoverton, hiding them by day using underground tunnels to move from one house or tavern to another. Today, a great example of those tunnels can be found below the tavern. The inn now uses the space for intimate dining options or even larger events. The inn also boasts the formation and charter of the local Freemasons that took place on the 3rd floor. And legend has it that a very special presidential visit happened when Abraham Lincoln stopped in. Today the inn designates a suite in Lincoln's honor. But Hanoverton and the Spread Eagle has a dark and deadly history as well. The cholera plague of 1854 ravaged the United States Midwest. That year, Oliver Nicholas and his 2 young sons Franklin and Frederick perished from the disease, leaving Oliver's wife Susanna to raise the remaining children. But tragedy wasn't finished with the Nicholas family. As accounted in daughter Grace's diary, her sister Olivia left for New York City to pursue her career. After being abandoned by her fiancé, Olivia returned to Ohio and the Spread Eagle in deep despair. Unable to shake the despair, Olivia soon went mad. She was routinely locked in her room on the 3rd floor of the inn for her own safety and the safety of others. One day a family member went up to Olivia's room to check on her, but found the locked room empty. Then the family member noticed the bedsheet lying through the open 3rd-story corner window. Olivia was dead. She had hanged herself. Her spirit is said to inhabit the inn to this day. Guests who stay in the now named Jefferson Suite say that sometimes their covers get pulled off mysteriously in the middle of the night, or the smell of perfume pervades throughout the room. How the Nicholas family arrived in Columbiana County is a story of valor and courage, and brings us back to the forgotten cemetery where our journey started. Resting next to Oliver is William Nicholas, Oliver's grandfather and my 5 times great-grandfather. William was born in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, the son of English immigrants. The Nicholas family lived a normal colonial life. Everything changed, however, in 1776. William joined the Continental Army in the summer of 1776 at the age of 18, and received a verbal discharge after serving for 2 months. By 1777, the Continental Army had already lost the cities of New York and Philadelphia, so William was drafted to serve once again. He joined the army at White Marsh under the command of General Potter. Later, William was assigned to drive a Continental team to supply General George Washington's army in White Plains, New York. When Washington moved his army to Quaker Hill in Rhode Island, William stayed the remainder of his army time in Connecticut, guarding a magazine and provision supply. After the war, William met and married Hannah Parsons in 1788 and headed west in a quest for new land and a better life. William and Hannah eventually settled in Columbiana County, where they raised 10 children. William died in 1842 and was buried here in Ardor Methodist Cemetery. He was 84 years old. Hannah was cared for by her son Holmes Nicholas until her death at the age of 92. I would guess that neither William nor Hannah could imagine the impact Hanoverton, their grandson Oliver, or the Spread Eagle Tavern would have on so many people. Even today, the Spread Eagle has an impact with its fine dining, accommodations, staff, and wonderfully preserved history. And for me, being a genealogist and a child of adoption, the Spread Eagle's history and folklore has opened a window for me to look into my biological family's past. A past filled with adventure, achievement, heartache, and loss. A past filled with history.